we are going to do estimating real quick. Estimating now works just like it did before, where you have to round each number to the place value of the leftmost digit. Before, you calculate the problem. So we're doing each individual number. So here, the 74 would be rounded to the 7. So that's going to be 70. Plus, here, this gets rounded to the 3. The 5 makes the 3 go up to a 4. Here, this gets rounded up to 50. So when you add all those, you get 124 for your estimate. Then they want you to go back and find the actual sum. For the actual sum, you have to add up the 74 plus the 3.529 plus the 52.61. That's 130.139. So we have an estimate and then we have the actual. The estimate is the one that tends to throw people off the most because they're not really thinking about it. They want to sit there and just guess at what they think it should be. But it actually is rounding to the very first digit every single time. So when you try this one, we would round to the 6, which would, this 6 here makes that 6 go up, so it becomes a 7. We'd round to the 1, so that become 100. And we'd round to the 2, and that 1 makes that 2 stay the same, so that's a 20. Everything else behind the decimal point falls away. So that becomes 127 for your estimate. But your actual is 131.62. Estimating products are done the exact same way. Estimating division is done the exact same way. You estimate each individual, you round each individual number, and then you find your answer. So down here, they want you to estimate each answer, then find the actual answer. So they have an addition, a subtraction, a multiplication, and a division. We've already done addition and subtraction. Well, we did addition twice. Let's do the subtraction, multiplication, and division. So for the subtraction, the 51 will become a 50. The 25 will become a 30. So when you subtract those, you get 20 for your estimate. And then we have 51.21 minus 25.13. That's 26.08 for your actual. Doesn't mean your estimate's a good estimate, just that's what it is. Here, for the 6.3, when you go to round it, you get a 6. For the 1.6, you end up with a 2. So your estimate will be 6 times 2, or 12. But 6.3 times 1.6 is actually 10.08. And then here, the 3.1 is a 3, and the 6.3 is a 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times for your estimate. But 6.36 divided by 3.1 ends up being 2.051612. They say rounded to the nearest hundredth if necessary. 903. Hundredths places there, so that's 2.05. For your actual. You gotta make sure you always read the directions to find out about rounding. Sometimes they just want you to do the order of operations. When they just want you to do the order of operations, your calculator can take care of that for you. You don't have to do that by yourself. So all I have to do is put it in my calculator just like I see it here. So I just need to type 3.1, open parentheses, 50 minus 25.8, close parentheses, minus 12.9. Hit enter. And it tells me 62.12. Not hard. Not hard at all. Now, it is true that on your tests, most of what you're getting are these word problems. But most of these word problems are asking things the other ones ask. They're just using words to ask it. So if you can do the other ones, you can read the words. You just have to be able to read. And I think you're okay. The next section is about statistics. Don't let this scare you. As long as you can get the definitions down, you're okay. So you might need to pause it and look at the definitions and write some things down, but I think you'll be all right. Statistics is the study of how to gather, organize, analyze, and interpret numbers and information. The statistics in a particular measure or characteristic of a part or sample of a larger collector of items called population. So we take a sample of people out of a whole population. Out of that sample, we collect some data. That data will make us some statistics. Using that data, we can get a mean, median, and a mode, which we generally call the average, and that'll tell us a range. The range is the difference between the very largest number and the smallest number of the data items. So we take the largest and we subtract the smallest. And that equals the range. It's an equation. The mode is the most used. The median is the middle number. These are ways to remember them. There are other specifics that we'll get into in a minute. And the mean is the one you remember the most. It's where you add up all the numbers. And divide by the number of numbers. So they give us example A. They want us to find the mean annual income for group individuals in group A. So if we're going to find the mean, that means we've got to add up all these numbers and then divide them by ever how many numbers we have. So I'm going to start by adding up all my numbers. So these are all thousands. So I'm just going to add the numbers in front and I'll put 1,000 on the end. So let me clear this out. I've got 28 plus 45 plus 22 plus 80 plus 25 plus 25 plus 27 plus 30. Enter. So that gives me 282. But that's just the beginning numbers. That's really 282 times 1,000. So it was really 282,000. Then, now that I have adding them all up equals 282,000, I need to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And that gives me 35,250 for my mean. If I want to find my median, I have to first put them in order from smallest to largest. So if I'm going to do that, I need to organize them. So my first one, my very smallest number, is the 22,000. My next smallest number is the 25, and I have 2 of those. So 25,000 and 25,000. And then, let's move it up some. Then my next smallest number is 27,000. And then my next smallest number is 28,000. Then my next one is 30,000. Then I have 45,000 and 80,000. That's all my numbers, all 8 of them. Now that they're in order, I can figure out what my middle number is. But the truth is, I have 2 middle numbers. I have this one and this one. They both fall in the middle. I have 2 middle numbers because there are even number of numbers. So since I have 2 middle numbers, I have to add these 2 numbers together. And divide by 2. So 27,000 plus 28,000 equals 55,000 divided by 2 gives me 27,500. This is my median. You only do this part right here when you have an even number of numbers. If you have an odd number of numbers, you'll have a middle number, and that's the number you go with. Then, if I want to know the mode, the mode is the most used. The one that got used the most here is the 25 because it got used twice. So that's 25,000. So that's my mode. And then if they wanted to know the range, the range would be the very biggest number, that's my 80,000, minus my very smallest number, that's my 22,000. And that gives you 58,000. Typically, they will ask for all four, not just one. Typically. So I want you to find all four for the next one. Find the mean, median, and mode for this one. Go ahead, pause it, see how you do. So for the mean, we have to add them all up. And then divide by the number of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's divided by 11 equals 102 minutes. And look at that, I am correct. Woo! So when I go to put them in order, my very smallest one is 88 minutes, and there was another 88 minutes. Mark them out as I go. There's a 90 minutes, another 90 minutes, and another 90 minutes. And then there's a 93 minutes. And then 100 minutes. And then 105. $110, $113, and then a $155. So my middle one, we've got an odd number here, so I should have a middle. So I can go, let's cancel out the first three and then my last three. And then my first one, my last one, my first one, and my last one, making 93 my middle one. So my median is going to be 93 minutes. That's my middle number. And then my mode is the one that got most used. 90 is the one that got used the most. That's 90 minutes. And then my range, that's my highest number. That's 155 minutes. Minus my lowest number is 88 minutes. So 155 minus 88 makes it 67 minutes. So that's my range. That explains the mean, median, mode, and range. Now you should be able to do these without too many problems if you have them. So please, please, please go ahead and do these sections, and I will see you later. Bye.